Hello everyone, welcome back on our channel. As you know that in the last video we have covered different types of reviews, starting from the informal review till the most formal one in this foundation level syllabus, which was inspection. Now in this video we will try to cover the different review techniques that are being used, and then the last topic will be the success factor that are the main key and what are the main success factor for the reviews. So first of all, there are some techniques which should be applied. Like it depends, maybe on one type of work product you are applying more than 2 to 3 techniques. It depends on the project and the work product. There are a number of review techniques that can be applied during the individual review, i.e. individual preparation activity to uncover defect. These techniques can be used across the review types. Like these techniques can be used across all review types described above. The effectiveness of the technique may differ depending on the type of review used. Examples of the different individual review techniques for various review types are listed below. So there are some types review techniques that we will discuss in detail. The first of all is ad hoc. As the name is suggesting, it's ad hoc, like, and with no such preparations. This technique is being applied. In an ad hoc review, reviewers are provided with little or no guidance on how this task should be performed. Like those who are the reviewers, they are provided with no guidance. Like on the runtime, for example, they will be given the basic information about the work product, and then they will it's a kind of random approach. Then they will explore your work product and will discuss and will think about what they have they ever come across this kind of work product in the past, and then they will give you for example some feedback, and a kind of some quick feedbacks to you about the work product. Normally this technique is applied when you have to review your work product and you have normally a time pressure, and then like you have you don't have that much time to review a work product, and you call some reviewers for the review who are technical experts. Reviewers often read the work product sequentially, identifying and documenting issues as they encounter them. Ad hoc reviewing is a commonly used technique needing little preparation. Yeah, that means you don't need that much preparation. So you will be invited to the review meeting, and then you will have no information about the work product. It could be a time pressure. This technique is highly dependent on reviewer skills and may lead to many duplicate issues being reported by different reviewers. So like it's, for example, maybe there is a one defect that is being found, or that is being told or reported by different reviewers. It is possible, duplication is possible. Duplication of the same error in the work product may be reported by 2 or 3 reviewers. Ad hoc is normally applied when you have time pressure. The next one is checklist based. As the name is suggesting, you will be provided with a checklist. If you remember, in the review process we have discussed 5 steps, like planning, and then initiate the review, then you have individual preparations, then issue and communication, and then fixing and reporting. So over there there was a second, which was initiate review, in which normally a moderator or facilitator provides a work product to all the reviewers, so that through email or maybe physically, so that they can read the checklist and the work products. So normally checklist is a systematic technique, you can say. And then you have products, you have a documentation, plus you will be provided a checklist as well. Like during reviews we will discuss main these issues that are given in the checklist, but you can also, during review meeting, you can also present your point which are not mentioned in the checklist. It's quite possible. A checklist based review is a systematic technique whereby the reviewers detect issues based on checklists that are distributed at review initiation. If you remember this review initiation, this we have seen already in the second step of review process, when you plan review, after that initiate review by the facilitator. A review checklist consists of a set of questions based on potential defects which may be derived from the experience. Like you have a work product and the facilitator provide you with some checklist that in the past in the same product we have come across this kind of problem that are mentioned in this checklist. So based on that checklist you will go to the review, but you can also give your suggestions other than the checklist. Checklist should be specific to the type of work product under review and should be maintained regularly to cover issue types missed in previous reviews. So like normally it's a specific to the type of work product review, which kind of review actually you are doing, and should be maintained regularly, like so that those issues which were left out in the last reviews, they should be covered in this review. The main advantage of the checklist based technique is a systematic coverage of typical defect type. Because you have a checklist, you will go one by one through every defect on a checklist and then you will discuss. Care should be taken not to simply follow the checklist in individual reviewing, but also to look for defect outside the checklist. Like you can also, if you find some defect in the work product, you can also tell it if it's outside the work product. The next review technique is scenario and dry runs. I think you remember from the walkthrough. In the walkthrough, we had this scenario and dry runs. Normally, the reviewers are not well prepared. They are not They are not the field expert, and then the work product author, which could be for the code, which could be developer. For the test cases, it could be a tester, and for test plan, it could be a test manager. Whoever has written the work product will present some presentation scenarios and dry runs to the reviewers, then they will provide their feedback. So in scenario based review, reviewers are provided with structure guidelines on how to read through the work product. They will provide a structure guideline. A scenario based review support reviewers in performing dry runs, like some kind of dummy test on the work product or simulation based on expected uses of the work product. If the work product is documented in a suitable format such as use cases, normally the reviewers will be provided with some use cases, with some scenarios, and they will apply on that work product and will tell their feedback what they have found during the review. These scenarios provide reviewers with better guidelines on how to identify specific defect types than simple checklist entries. So with scenarios and dry runs, they will have feeling that they are actually applying these scenarios and dry runs on the work product, and then they will give their finding. As with checklist based reviews, in order not to miss other defect types, missing features, reviewers should not be constrained to documented scenarios. Maybe there are 5 to 6 example scenarios from the author. Then the reviewers could also come across with their own scenarios. Like for example, you have an application and then you are review that application on the mobile as a user interface. So maybe there are some scenarios that if you do this, this will happen, like use cases. But maybe you can go beyond that checklist or beyond that scenarios and dry runs, for example, and then you can what in your mind, for example, in your mind a different use case comes at that time, you can also apply that. The next one is perspective based. Perspective based, I think the better will be if before that we study this role based, then you will understand in a better way the perspective based one. So what is actually a role based? Actually the role based can be a role is assigned to you. It's a specific, for example, you are a user of a particular, like you are in a review meeting as a reviewer, and then you are like you have to test a shopping app. For example, I am taking an example, and then there are different roles assigned to the reviewers. For example, one role is assigned to you, one reviewer as a young customer. Young customer actually looks for the fantasies, looks for the like how the app looks like, how the new features are there, how exciting is it. Then second role could be like a lady, like a middle-aged lady. Maybe like she has a different interest in the mobile app. The third reviewer could be assigned a role of a senior citizen. Then maybe he will look like maybe with a, let's say, with a weak eyesight. So then in that case he will look into the app in a different way. Like if the font size is fine for me, is it readable, can I go through the features very easily. And then an old citizen, for example, who is already old, and then you can say his reflexes are not that strong, so maybe he will take some time to understand is this app is easy to use. So different roles. A role based review is a technique in which the reviewers evaluate the work product from the perspective of individual stakeholder roles. Typical roles include specific end user types like experienced, inexperienced user, seniors user, child, etc., and specific roles in the organization. For example, if it was an open app, then different role. And for example, if you are making a dedicated app for an organization, then there could be roles. For example, user administrator, system administrator, performance tester. A common user, like common user has limited rights, the user administrator or the system administrator has higher rights. So could be different kind of roles that could be assigned. The simple principle apply as in perspective based reading because the roles are similar. So role based, now you understand. Now we will go to the perspective based. So perspective based, in role based we provide a definite roles to each reviewer, but actually in perspective based it's anyhow similar to the role based, but here actually you only have the perspective, you don't have an individual role to perform. For example, you are a user, so it's a perspective, like you are using an app as a user, not as a senior user, as a child user, as a young user, senior citizen, old citizen, male or female, etc. It's only perspective. Your perspective is as a user. So in a perspective based reading, similar to the role based review, reviewer take on different stakeholder viewpoint in individual reviewing. Typical stakeholder viewpoint include end user, marketing, designer, tester, or operation, like different departments. For example, previously in the end user we were assigning a different role, end user which is of type old citizen, end user as a child, end user as a female. But over here some perspective, like perspective of marketing, as a perspective of a designer, as a perspective of an end user. Using different stakeholder viewpoint lead to more depth in individual reviewing with less duplication of issue across reviewers. So over here you can read in detail. In addition, perspective based reading also required the reviewers to attempt to use the work product under review to generate the product they would drive from it. So it's about the thinking, about the perspective, what they are driving from the product actually. For example, a tester would attempt to generate draft acceptance test if performing a perspective based reading on a requirement. Like it depends which attempts specification to see if all necessary information was included. Maybe if a tester has been called early during a review of a work product, for example for the requirement review, he is coming over there. So for example, to if he's reading the, for example, there was a review for the work product of requirements. So for a developer, for a coder, the perspective of requirement is somehow different. He will think it in the way of development. But when a tester is reading the requirement, he will think how can I generate test cases or test suites, set of test cases for these requirements. So different perspective, different mindsets could be there. So it was about the different. So over here we have studied different review techniques. Now the last topic of this chapter is success factor for the reviews. There are two types. One is the organizational success factor, the second one is the team or the people related to the review meeting. So now we will discuss this topic in detail.